Short story Scheherazade by Haruki Murakami. In the quiet isolation of a house somewhere north of Tokyo, a man named Habara lives in seclusion, unable to venture outside. His only regular visitor is a woman he privately calls Scheherazade. She arrives twice a week in her small blue Mazda hatchback, bringing groceries and essential supplies. After completing her household duties with efficient precision, they share intimate moments together. But what makes their relationship truly unique is what happens afterward. She tells him stories, strange and captivating tales that transport him beyond the confines of his isolation. Habara nicknamed her after the legendary queen from 1001 Nights who told stories to save her life. Unlike the beautiful queen of the ancient tales, this Scheherazade is an ordinary-looking housewife in her mid-30s, beginning to show signs of middle age. She is a mother of 2 elementary school children and a registered nurse who occasionally takes shifts at local facilities. Despite her unremarkable appearance, she possesses an extraordinary gift for storytelling. Her timing, her pacing, her voice, all flawless. Through her narratives, Habara momentarily escapes his reality, his mind wiped clean of worries like a blackboard cleaned with a damp cloth. They never use each other's real names in their encounters, adding another layer of mystery to their relationship. Every visit follows the same routine. She arrives, unpacks groceries, they spend time together intimately, and then she tells him stories until exactly 4:30, when she must leave to prepare dinner for her family. This video was powered by the AI Pandora.io. Left alone, Habara prepares simple meals for himself, reads lengthy books, and contemplates his isolated existence. Without Scheherazade's visits, he would be completely cut off from the outside world. One day after their intimate encounter, Scheherazade surprises Habara with an unexpected revelation. "I was a lamprey eel in a former life." She describes in vivid detail how lampreys attach themselves to rocks at the bottom of lakes, swaying like weeds, waiting to ambush passing trout. She recalls this past existence with remarkable clarity. The play of light through water, the shadows of creatures passing overhead, even the lamprey-specific thoughts that filled her mind. Her storytelling is so immersive that Habara can almost see this underwater world through her eyes. In another session, Scheherazade reveals that as a teenager, she became addicted to breaking into empty houses. The thrill wasn't about stealing, but experiencing the profound silence of these vacant spaces. In that stillness, she explains, her memories of being a lamprey would return to her. Habara listens, fascinated yet confused about the blurry line between reality and fiction in her tales. Their relationship exists in an ambiguous space. Habara wonders how much of Scheherazade's attention stems from genuine feeling and how much is simply part of her assigned duties as his support liaison. Is she providing companionship out of obligation, affection, or something else entirely? What is clear is that their connection isn't simply physical. It is the intertwining of intimacy and storytelling that binds them together in this strange, isolated existence. As Habara strokes his beard, grown partially out of boredom and partially as a disguise, he contemplates the nature of his confinement. "I am not stranded on a desert island," he thinks to himself. "No, I am a desert island. And on this human island, Scheherazade's stories are his only bridge to the wider world. Tales that touch his heart and momentarily free him from the reality that surrounds him." Scheherazade reveals that as a high school junior, she became infatuated with a boy in her class. Though he never noticed her, her crush was so intense she felt she might go crazy. One day, she skips school and breaks into his empty house using a key hidden under the mat. This begins what she calls her time as the love burglar. Inside his meticulously organized bedroom, Scheherazade sits at his desk, touching his belongings and absorbing the essence of his life. She describes how even ordinary objects like pencils and rulers became special because they belonged to him. Before leaving, she takes one of his pencils but leaves behind an unused tampon hidden in his desk drawer, creating a secret exchange that thrills her. For a week, Scheherazade lives in bliss, writing with his pencil, even kissing and sucking on it. The knowledge of having something of his and leaving something of hers behind gives her a strange satisfaction. 10 days later, she returns to his house. This time, she lies briefly on his bed but finds the experience overwhelming. She examines his notebooks, finding a perfectly written book report, and looks through his neatly folded clothes. On this visit, she takes a small soccer badge and leaves 3 strands of her hair hidden in one of his notebooks. She feels increasingly connected to him through these secret exchanges. Scheherazade acknowledges that breaking into homes becomes addictive, hinting at complications to come. Her grades begin to suffer as she becomes consumed by her secret activities, raising concern from her teacher. The story shifts back to the present, where Scheherazade checks the time, dresses quickly, and leaves Habara alone. When she returns days later with groceries and supplies, they engage in their usual routine of restrained intimacy before she continues her story, revealing how her obsession continued to grow. Scheherazade felt compelled to keep breaking into the boy's house. Despite the risks, her school absences weren't a problem. She had developed a system of forging notes from her mother, and teachers were more concerned with chronic absentees than her occasional half-days off. During her third break-in, she experiences the quiet house differently, feeling startled when the refrigerator turns on and when the telephone rings harshly. This time, she lies on the boy's bed without her heart racing, daydreaming that he sleeps peacefully beside her. She imagines watching over him, almost feeling his presence. Searching for his scent, Scheherazade discovers his clothes are all freshly laundered. In a moment of inspiration, she heads to the laundry hamper and finds his used t-shirt. The discovery of his scent brings her overwhelming joy. She takes the shirt back to his bed, buries her face in it, and experiences physical sensations of desire. Despite knowing the risks, Scheherazade decides to take the sweaty shirt home with her, understanding that his meticulous mother would likely notice its absence. She considers leaving something in exchange, perhaps her underwear, but eventually takes the t-shirt without leaving anything behind, crossing the line from trespasser to thief in her own assessment. As Scheherazade pauses her story, she and Habara become intimate again, but this time her body responds differently. Soft, warm, passionate, Habara feels as though he's glimpsing the 17-year-old hidden within this 35-year-old woman. When Scheherazade returned for a fourth break-in 12 days later, she discovered a new lock on the door and no hidden key. The mother had noticed the missing shirt and taken precautions. Surprisingly, Scheherazade feels relief alongside her disappointment. She recognizes that her behavior would have escalated, eventually leading to disaster if she had been caught inside their home. Each night, she inhales the aroma of the stolen t-shirt before sleep, carefully hiding it during the day. The scent becomes a permanent memento, never fading away. As her break-ins end, Scheherazade's classroom focus improves. Though she still watches the boy carefully, she notices no change in his behavior. He remains as carefree and natural as always. During one of her previous visits, she had discovered his hidden collection of adult magazines. Rather than being repulsed or disappointed, she accepts this as normal teenage behavior. He isn't a hero or saint, just a typical boy, which she finds oddly comforting. Gradually, her obsession cools. She spends less time smelling his shirt or handling his stolen pencil and badge. The fever passes, and by graduation she has forgotten about him completely. Scheherazade reflects on how strange it is that something can completely entrance you one moment and fade entirely the next. Just as she's about to leave, Scheherazade reveals there's more to the story. Years later, while in nursing school, fate brought them together again. With his mother playing a significant role, she promises to tell this supernatural-tinged continuation on her next visit. After she departs, Habara contemplates the fragility of their relationship. He worries about losing not just Scheherazade but all women from his life. Not merely for physical intimacy, but for the profound connection to reality they provide. As night falls, Habara closes his eyes and thinks of lampreys instead of Scheherazade, creatures fastened to rocks, swaying in the current, waiting for fish that never appear as darkness envelops everything. The story of Scheherazade and Habara reveals the complex interplay between isolation and connection, fantasy and reality. Their relationship exists in a delicate balance, sustained by both physical intimacy and the transformative power of storytelling. We witness how human connection can transcend ordinary circumstances, how past experiences shape who we become, and how stories create bridges between isolated souls. In Scheherazade's tale of adolescent obsession, we see mirrored the intensity of her current connection with Habara, both relationships existing in liminal spaces defined by secrecy and unspoken rules. As the narrative closes, we are left wondering about the nature of desire, the persistence of memory, and the ephemeral quality of human connection. Just as Habara waits for Scheherazade's return and her promised continuation of the story, we too are suspended in that space between anticipation and uncertainty, the human experience distilled to its essence, waiting in darkness for connection that may or may not arrive. This video was powered by the AI Pandora.io.